Hi everybody, I'm Julie, writer and director of the indie nerdy comedy Geek Loves Punk, and today I'm talking about tonight. It's actually Sunday morning. okay. This morning I'm talking about, I'm gonna talk about giving you advice on if you should call a lawyer. Yes, so you're gonna love this because I, as an indie filmmaker, am gonna give you some education based on my personal experience on whether you should call a lawyer in case you might need a lawyer. Okay, so this video is going to be great because you're going to learn some really cool stuff about if you should call a lawyer. Welcome to the Julie Show. Okay, here's what happened. So here's my experience with lawyers. So I grew up poor in small town Virginia, and what happens is when you grow up poor, sometimes you're afraid to stand up for yourself, or sometimes you're afraid of the system, because sometimes the system is exploitive of poor people. So anyway, so fast forward to, I grew up in Virginia, I ended up in California. Fast forward to California. My first job when I moved out here, I was a reader for a law student at UC Berkeley who was partially blind. So I basically had the life of a law student at UC Berkeley, and I actually had a lot of respect for lawyers once I did that, because she worked really long hours getting her law degree. She had to learn all the laws. Basic lawyers pick different expertise. I think she was going to do corporate business law. So she had to learn all the laws, and I was helping her study and helping her write papers and helping her do mock trials. And holy shit, you guys. So I actually do respect lawyers. Yeah. And then I had a job where I was for 6 weeks during the global pandemic. I was the intake person for a lawyer, and his expertise was social security law. So lawyers pick different expertise. As the intake person, I did it for 6 weeks, and then I had a lot of jobs during the global pandemic. I found a higher paying job basically because the job was part-time. But when in the lawyer's office as the intake person, they gave me a form, and when people called in about their cases, I would ask them these questions and I would write down their answers, and then I would get their information, email, phone numbers, and I would say, okay, thank you. By the way, I'm wearing a virus shirt for fun. It has nothing to do with the law, but I just want to show you that she autographed it. Well, she didn't autograph, but it's an autograph is on the t-shirt. Okay. So I would take down the information, and then I would go to the lawyer and I would just say, oh, here's the intake person, or I would give the intake forms to the lawyer, and the lawyer would decide if they could take the case or not take the case. So that's my experience with lawyers. They were really nice people too. And because there's a lot of jokes about lawyers being assholes. I don't think lawyers are assholes. I really don't. Yeah, I don't think lawyers are assholes. Okay. The lawyers I know are all nice people. And I know a lot of do-gooder lawyers. I know a lawyer, she helps immigrants get asylum in the United States. So she's a good person. Yeah. Okay. So I made a really long video about this, but I was a receptionist at a chiropractic clinic, and there's this chiropractor. Here's the thing, he wasn't the worst person in the world, but he wasn't the best either. So you know how there's Coke and there's Diet Coke? So his behavior towards me was diet sexual harassment, but basically he didn't want sex from me, but he wanted to say creepy, weird things to me. And he did. And while he as far as anyway, they wanted me to get free services from them so that I knew how to advertise them as the receptionist. So when he was performing chiropractic services on me, He was making jokes about paralyzing me, like really fucking weird shit that I didn't like it. I didn't like it. And his whole vibe was creepy. So I just knew that basically he did a lot of weird stuff, but I happened to be LGBTQ, so he was also like, do you have a boyfriend or a husband? And it's like, I don't know why he was asking me that. He was just weird. He was just weird. He was a little creepy. So, but, and some of his jokes were homophobic. Some of his jokes were sexist. And this was in the heart of San Francisco. So it was just like, dude, what are you doing? Like, San Francisco is like the mecca for LGBTQ people. He's just a weird little dude. And like I said, he didn't want sex from me, but he just wanted to be like a little weirdo. And that's where I was like, but, and also I'd worked in healthcare for like 10 years. So I'd never encountered a medical professional like him before. Also, like, he would talk shit about his patients in a way that made me feel uncomfortable. It's like his hands were just on their bodies. And as soon as they walked out the door, like in a really catty, like Mean Girls kind of way, he would like start making fun of them. He was just like really weird and mean-spirited. I didn't like him. But I needed someone to explain to him like what the sexual harassment laws are in California, because it's like the only thing he should be talking to me about is healthcare, you know what I mean? Not like weird shit. So I made a complaint to like the owner of the chiropractic clinic, and when she was a woman, but when I made the complaint, like, it turns out she was gonna sell the clinic to the weird dude because his family's rich. So she's gonna sell and she was in physical pain, so I get it, like, because it's really a physically hard job to do, chiropractic. So I made a complaint to her, but about him being weird. But then, and then I suggested, because I've had other jobs where I've done this before, I suggested that we create a HR document. And like, basically I was like, someone needs to diplomatically explain to him what sexual harassment is. And to give him credit, if someone just handed to him the document for what sexual harassment is in California, I think it's only 2 pages, and it basically bullet points it. So I was like, if someone could diplomatically hand him these 2 pieces of paper and he can read what sexual harassment is, I think he would have stopped. That's to give him credit, like, because he was just a weird dude. And then when he interviewed me, he even said, like, in so many words, he was like, tell me when I'm being weird and tell me to stop when I'm being weird. He would say that to me, and I was like, yeah, but like, you're my boss. You control you control me getting a paycheck. I was thinking this. I was like, how am I going to tell you that? Like, you control my ability to have money. Like, how much can I really call you out? Hence the negative aspects of capitalism. So, you know, you're worth money. I'm not. Like, I have no power here. Like, how can I really call you out on being weird? And so, but anyway, I made a complaint, and then it turns out, you know, the owner of the clinic, she got worried. She was afraid I was messing up her bread and butter. She wants that weird little dude's money. That's what she did. So she fired me because she wants his money, you know, and I was like, yikes. So I told my friends and family what happened, and my friend, he's a really nice guy, really nice, like, straight guy. He's like, Julie, call a lawyer, like, what the fuck, call a lawyer. And I was worried about calling a lawyer because I was like, oh, what? He's like, at least call a fucking lawyer and talk to a lawyer. And I was like, all right. And I did call a lawyer. I called a couple lawyers, and I found one, and the lawyer talked to me for like 2 hours. And here's the thing, like, I don't want to sue a chiropractic clinic, like, you know what I mean? Like, especially in California, like, it's not a big money maker compared to, like, you know, like Google, like out here, the big companies are Google and all that kind of stuff. So yeah, like, I don't want to like, yeah. Anyway, I talked to the lawyer for 2 hours, like, and the intake person. I'd had issues at a physical therapy clinic where they were all kind of homophobic. Then I go to the chiropractor clinic where he's just like a little weirdo. And anyway, I talked about both situations. And what was really nice about talking to the lawyer for 2 hours is like the lawyer validated my experiences. The lawyer validated how I was feeling. The lawyer was like telling me in a very professional way, like, that's messed up, that's bad. And for both clinics, he's like, that's awful. He was just telling me, he was validating my experiences and telling me it was bad. And I got professional validation, and that's really great. So I posted that video. I'll link to it, the creepy chiropractic video. I posted that video, and like, here's the thing, like, too, like, when I try to talk to my friends and family, like, they didn't always understand, like, if it was fucked up, why it was fucked up. So it was nice to talk to a lawyer who's a professional, and he was like explaining, no, what happened to you is fucked up. So, but they didn't take my case. But to be honest, like, I don't want to sue a chiropractic clinic and a physical therapy clinic. Like, I don't want their money. Like, you know what I mean? Like, they're not like, you know what I'm saying? They're not big money. Like, I don't know. I don't want to sue these people. You know what I'm saying? I wanted validation. Like, I wanted someone to tell me it was fucked up what happened to me. So that's really what I wanted. So just talking to the lawyer, he gave me 2 hours of his time for free. Yeah, when you call a lawyer, it's free. Okay. It doesn't cost money to talk to them. And so anyway, I posted that video, the creepy chiropractor. And then there's this lawyer who does YouTube videos. And apparently he'd seen my video. And, oh, and the other thing is, I asked the lawyer, I was like, hey, like, you know, they didn't take my case, but also I didn't want to sue these two clinics. I really didn't. Like, it's fine, you know what I'm saying? But I'm glad I talked to a lawyer just to get the validation, yeah. And financially I did fine because I found other jobs and I was totally fine. Okay. But I'm glad I talked to a lawyer. It just made me feel better. And then also, like, there's a lawyer who was a YouTuber, and he was commenting on my videos, just being really nice, and I was commenting on his videos. And then he says to me, he's like, you know, Julie, I saw your video, the creepy chiropractor, and he's like, I just want to tell you, I'm really, really sorry you had to go through that. And I was like, oh, wow, thank you. Like, and I was like, once again, professional validation. Like, thank you so much. I really appreciate that, you know, and it made me feel better because some of my friends and family, they weren't understanding why what I went through was fucked up, but the lawyer understood, you know what I'm saying? So again, I got more professional validation from the lawyer who's on YouTube. So with that, here's 3 things I want to say about if you're thinking about calling a lawyer. So if you think you've been wronged, no one's paying me to say this, but if you think you've been mistreated in any kind of way, like at work, like, you know, employment law, that kind of thing, when in doubt, call a lawyer. Like, call 4 or 5 lawyers. You're going to get an intake person. It does not cost money to call a lawyer. When you call a lawyer, you're going to get an intake person. They're going to ask you a bunch of questions, which is standard. They're going to write down your answers. They're going to talk to a lawyer, and they're going to decide if you have a case. So first you'll talk to an intake person, and then from the intake person, that's how they decide if the lawyer is going to talk to you. So when in doubt, call a lawyer. Don't be afraid to call a lawyer. Every once in a while, the system does work in your favor. So it's okay to call a lawyer. When in doubt, call a lawyer. 2, the reason why you want to call a lawyer is you want a professional opinion. Your friends and family, they're not lawyers. They're not professionals when it comes to law. So you could get their opinions, but they're not professional opinions. I mean, I love my friends and family, but none of them are lawyers. So when it comes to the law, the reason why you're calling a lawyer, you need to get a professional opinion. You might have a case, you know, that kind of thing. And it's not about the money. Like, hey, if you get some money, great. But the 3rd reason why you should call a lawyer, you should stand up for yourself. You deserve to stand up for yourself. If someone has treated you like garbage, if you've been mistreated, you owe it to yourself to stand up for yourself. And if you stand up for yourself with the lawyer is the one, they're working for you. You know what I'm saying? And there's a lot of lawyers where they don't charge you unless they make money. So like, you know, they don't get money unless they get money. So one of my favorite movies about the law is Aaron Brockovich. Great movie. So yeah, so anyway, when in doubt, call a lawyer. 2, call a lawyer. 2, because you need a professional opinion. And 3, a lawyer helps you stand up for yourself. And the reason why lawyers charge a lot is because they have to memorize like all the laws. They pick one section. Trust me, like after I worked for that law student, I had a lot of respect for lawyers because they have to memorize like all the laws. So I just want to thank that YouTuber. I'll link to that YouTuber below, but I want to thank him for saying nice things to me about, yeah, the creepy chiropractor. So I'm okay. Like I said, I don't think he was that bad of a guy. He just didn't understand what the laws were. So if someone would have read to him, I think he would have stopped if someone just would have stood up to. I needed someone with authority to stand up to him, and they wouldn't stand up to him because they wanted his money. They wanted him to buy the clinic. So I was like, yeah, okay, no integrity. There's no integrity in that situation. So there you go. Yes, when in doubt, call a lawyer, stand up for yourself, get a professional opinion. You're going to be okay, and everything's going to be awesome.